There are times when you're told a story, and you know that it is just that, a story. There are other times where you're told a story and you can tell interwoven within the fabrication are some nuggets of truth. And that's a really good story. And the reason is it's relatable. What I'm about to tell you is not a story, and it's not a partially truthful story. It's a series of events. This really happened. There are really only 3 other people beside myself who know the truth of this. And I've told it to a few people in the past, and most of the time I get well, you're just lying because that couldn't have happened. And those people are welcome to believe that because I know that it actually did. But I'll go ahead and get into this. And then started about 1 week before Halloween, my second year in college. A friend of mine, which we're going to call Alpha, works at a club/bar in Atlanta. And if you've ever been to Atlanta or near it, there's a place called the Masquerade, and there's 3 levels. There's the top level, which is called Heaven, the middle level, which is called Purgatory, and the bottom level, which is called Hell. Now, Alpha is an alpha male. He's really good at sports. He's big. He's tough. He always gets on with the ladies, and he works as a bartender here. And this one particular night, this lady, she's probably in her late 20s, early 30s, walks up to him. And she gives him this card. It's about 5 inches by 5 inches, matte black material. The back of it was kind of like a felt. And on the front, there's writing in all black letters that's just an address. But you have to kind of hold the card at an angle to see it because it's shiny writing on matte black material. And she says to him, "Hey, Alpha, I want you to come to a party at my house for Halloween next week." And he says, "Cool, no problem." And she said, "You can bring 3 or 4 of your friends if you'd like, but only guys, no girls." And he's like, "Whoa, wait a second. I don't know what you think." She cuts him off. She's like, No. I'll supply the girls. You just bring the guys." And he's like, "I don't know exactly how that works, but okay, that's fine." So a few days later, he contacts us. He's like, "Hey, do you guys want to come to a party?" And now, you guys is myself, and we're going to say somebody named B and somebody named C. So we have Alpha, B, C, and myself, and we're sitting down for lunch, and he shows us the card. And it says on the card, you have to come dressed in a costume and to this address at this time. So on Halloween day, we put our costumes on. One of my friends, we're just going to call him C, his costume consists of Christmas wrapping paper with a sign on his chest that says, God's gift to women. So that was probably the best costume that was there. In any case, we drive to this house, which is an area called the Vinings, which is a nice area. Big houses. We get there, and the street's kind of packed, and there seems like there's a couple parties going on there, but the house that we get to is completely dark. There's no lights, not outside, not inside. And we walk up to the front door, which is open, and there's a guy standing there in like a butler outfit holding a silver tray. And he says, "Your invite, please." So we give him the invite, we put it on the silver tray, and he kind of like ushers us inside the house. When we get in there, that lady walks out. She's like, "Hey, how are you guys doing? Why don't you go downstairs and grab a drink and enjoy yourselves?" So we're like, "Cool." We walk in a little bit, and she points us in a direction. We turn around a corner, and there's some stairs that kind of curve down into the basement with this red velvet carpet. We go down there, and there are people fucking everywhere. It's a sex party. And we kind of just look around at each other. We're like, you know what? This is not our thing. So now, mind you, we did stay there for a few minutes kind of looking around, but we turn around and walk back up. And we're going to leave, and B looks at the front door and is like, "Dudes, we have a problem." And we go up there, and we see that it's a deadbolt that locks with a key. And the door is locked, and we can't get out. Now, Mr. Butler Man comes back, is like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Well, it's not really our thing. I think we want to leave." And he's like, "Well, I don't know if that's going to be fine with the missus." So we're like, "Well, can we talk with her?" So he goes and gets her, and she comes out, and she says, "You know what? Let me get some friends. Maybe they can help convince you to stay." Now, we're all thinking the same thing. This lady's going to bring some hot chicks and trying to make us stay. She goes around to the corner. She comes back with these 3 huge dudes. And one of them says, "I heard you guys have a problem." And we all look at each other. We're like, "Nope, not at all. We'll go back downstairs." And he said, "Good." And he walks away with his 2 hulking buddies. We go downstairs. We're in about 10 minutes. We come back upstairs all quiet. And my friend B decides to take this little concrete/marble statue and throw it through the bay window to get us out of the house. And we jump in our car and we drive back to the Masquerade. Now, the reason we drive back to the Masquerade is because we figured there's a bunch of stuff going on there. We'll get some drinks, and that'd be fine. The problem is that lady knows where Alpha works. And about 30 minutes later, 3 heavy dudes with that lady walk into the club. And it wasn't a good night. So I'll have to stop the story there just because I'm running out of time. I hope you enjoyed it, and you can choose to believe or not, but I know in my heart that this really, really happened. Have a great day.
What's up, C3 Tournament Round 2? Zoltan25 here. Got a nice little Halloween story to bring you folks. I decided to get back into the Halloween scene, the trick-or-treating scene, if you will. After taking a couple years off, I was more into the giving out the candy scene. Hadn't been out of the game for a while, hadn't been doing it for a while, so I had to get back into the groove. So I went with the best costume I had, the White Ranger. That's right, the White Ranger costume. Shit was fly. Anyway, this one particular year, the trick-or-treating was phenomenal. I mean, it was like the whole neighborhood was participating. The whole neighborhood. They were all giving out full-size candy bars? I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Anyway, I'm going around, I'm knocking on houses, I'm getting candy. I'm knocking on the next door, I'm getting candy. I am knocking the doors off these people's houses, getting shit tons of candy, full-size candy bars. Kids run around like crazy. Shit was nuts. I was even considering going back to my house, changing costumes, and coming back out for round 2. That's how good the trick-or-treating was. Well, as all good stories go, all good things have to come to an end. And it wasn't because it got too dark, or it wasn't because, the street lights came on, or people were starting to turn their lights off. It was because I was walking down the street, and all of a sudden, I see out of the corner of my eye, these 3 kids poke out from between these 2 houses, a real dark spot. They come kind of jogging out, to meet me at the sidewalk, and it had to have at least been the 8th grade, dude. At least. All right, these kids, they were pretty stout. All right, so I'm all like, what's up? An Iron Man, he looks at me and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I just dressed up as the White Ranger with a pillowcase full of candy. I'm just walking around the neighborhood. Hey, what kind of fucking question is that? It's fucking Halloween, you jackass. I'm fucking trick-or-treating. Anyway, I guess the Hulk didn't find that too funny, his buddy, because he proceeded to beat me down to the ground. When he took the first hit, Iron Man jumps in, fucking Wolverine jumps in. All 3 of them are just beating the crap out of me with their bags of candy, and just when I thought I was just going to give up my candy, my score, and let them have it, I hear the grumbling from our family's V8 SUV roaring up the hill. I look up, and it's my wife. She slams it in park, hops out. She's got a Wonder Woman costume head to toe, looking hot. And she's got both of my kids' pillowcases full of candy, and she's swinging these fucking things like they're fucking nunchucks, screaming, running towards the scene of the crime, where I'm getting the beat down handed to me by the fucking Marvel comic book characters, and they haul ass. Boom! Gone. Saved my candy. Thank God. But the best part, after they took off running, when we got back to the house, I poured my bag candy out. I'm separating it, from the sweet tarts over here, and then we got the Snickers bars over here, and I look over and I realize that I beat out both my daughters combined. I got more candy than both my 3-year-old and my 4-year-old. That's legit, dude. If you could beat that, you let me know. That was last year's Halloween story for you. I don't think I'll be getting candy anymore. I think I'll just leave it up to my kids to collect candy. Anyway, that's it for me, YouTube. This has been Zoltan25. Love your balls.